Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Um, I know my voice, the voice in the video will be little echoing, won't be the way it was before because I am recording in a different room which has less furniture because in my room some work is going. I hope you can use earphones or headphones to get a better audio of this video. So today's topic, today I think I'm doing lecture number 10 of this chapter, current electricity. So today we will discuss about EMF, terminal voltage and internal resistance. So we will discuss about these three topics. Now obviously I won't be able to explain all these three in one video. I will be making three videos. So do watch these three videos to get the entire idea about how this what is the you have to understand this, what is EMF, what is terminal voltage, what is internal resistance. See, definitions are there in the book, but you need to understand those definitions. What does that actually mean? So let's begin with today's topic, that is called EMF. Now, before understanding EMF, you need to have small ideas about, in your chemistry there's a chapter electrolysis, so you need to have the basic idea about that chapter electrolysis. So first thing that you need to know, what is a cathode, what is a anode, and what is a cation, and what is a anion. So cathode is the negative terminal. This cathode is the negative terminal. If cathode is the negative terminal, then anode becomes the positive terminal, right? And cation is the positive ion. This is the positive ion, okay, like H plus. It is the positive ion, and cation is the positive ion. So anion will be the negative ion. Negative ion means SO4 2 minus, you can say. See, negative ion, this is positive ion. So you got the idea what is the cathode, anode, cation, anion. Now what you need to understand is what is an electrolyte. Electrolyte. If I say in a basic easy word, it is any ionic solution. Means, suppose you put salt in water. Suppose there is a water, and if you add NaCl, then what will happen? NaCl will break into Na plus and Cl minus. So you can see there are ions formed inside the water. So this is a ionic solution. So how to form an ionic solution? When you add ionic compound in it. Ionic compounds are what? Salts. If you basically add some salt or say sulfuric acid, even if you add say if you add sulfuric acid H2SO4 into water, this H2SO4 will break into H plus and SO4 2 minus, and H plus is what? That is the cation, and SO4 2 minus is what? That is the anion. So any solution which has ions, which has positive ions and negative ions, that is called as electrolyte. Now if you see, this cation will always move towards the cathode, and the anion will move towards the anode. You know, opposite charges or opposite attract each other. Okay, opposite charges attract. So if you see, cation is positive and cathode is negative. So basically cation will go towards the cathode and anion will go towards the anode, because this is negative and negative will go towards the positive. So I hope you understood this basic knowledge, because this basic knowledge is important to understand what is EMF. Now let's understand EMF. I will explain all these things part by part, and what is a EMF, what is the function of EMF. But you have to understand the technology, or say the how it works first. See, in your book, whatever is given in your about the EMF, I will say that is incomplete information. In your book, the information is not given completely, so you might feel a little bit of problem. Or if you have studied electrolysis in details, then you come to this chapter physics, then you might be having a little bit of problem in understanding, because I believe in your book whatever is given, the whatever theory is explained about EMF, that is incomplete definition or incomplete explanation. Let me give you the entire idea about what is a EMF and how a battery works. So basically, if you have a battery or an inverter at your house, see, I'll tell you one thing, okay? In your house, if you have seen, there is a battery which is basically made up of it is manufactured by a company called Exide. So this is the battery, and after that you will see there is a small box. This small box is inverter. So battery provides current to this inverter, and this current is DC current, and inverter then converts this DC current to AC current. So this inverter function is different, battery function is different. So battery is the one which actually produces or gives the charge, and inverter converts from DC to AC. So our topic is to understand what is this battery or how this battery works. So normally when the current is there in your house, when the power is there, power is on, power is on. Okay, there is no load shedding. I will say in normal word, there is no load shedding. So it's normal current coming. So at that point, your battery is charging. So at that point, your battery is charging. So how does it charges? See that, and this is the part in your book which is missing. So basically, if the charge is there, means what? There is a battery. So this is the battery, you can say, when it is charging, this is the positive terminal, this is the negative terminal, and then there are two electrodes, right? Now this is the negative terminal. So this is what? This is the negative. This is the negative terminal. So this becomes a negative electrode, and negative electrode means what? This is the cathode. So right now you can say this is the cathode, negative, and this is the positive. So it is connected to the positive terminal. So this is the anode, positive, and the entire thing is under a electrolytic cell which has ions. So there are ions, say there are two kinds of ions, H plus ion and SO4 2 minus, means you have put some dilute sulfuric acid. So obviously if you have put dilute sulfuric acid, this sulfuric acid H2SO4 will break into H plus and SO4 2 minus ion. So this is the cation and this is the anion, cation, anion, and this is the cathode, this is the anode. Now it is obviously relevant when the battery is in charging condition. Whatever SO4 2 minus ions are there, that will move this negative ion, or negative ion is called as what? The anion. So this is the anion. This anion will travel towards the anode, and if you see, this is the cation. this cation will travel towards the cathode. So anion travels towards the anode and cation travels towards the cathode, because negative goes towards the positive and positive goes towards the negative. Now think, there is not single H plus ion, there are many H plus ions. So all the H plus ions which are there in the solution, all will travel towards the cathode. So if all the H plus ions travels towards the cathode, then what happens? Over here you can say positive charges gets accumulated. Similarly, all the negative anions will travel towards the anode. So ultimately this becomes negative, 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 negative. All the negative charges are there, right? Now, after this, so this is the condition of charging. Charging means what? The cathode attracts all the cations and the anode attracts all the anions. And this, there's a whole charge is there. Now, at this point of time, this is a positive terminal and this is an okay. So suppose say, now this you understood. Now suppose say there is a load shedding. The power has gone off. If the power has gone off, now there will what? There will be a situation of discharging, and when the power has gone off, obviously this battery won't be there. Means this battery is the one which was attracting the ions. Now the power has gone off, so this battery is not there anymore. So it goes like this. Now after this it is given in your book. After this it is given in your book when the battery is discharging. Now in your book, if you have seen, this anode is made, they have told this anode is made up of zinc and this cathode is made up of copper. Now when this power is, now when the battery is discharging, there is no more battery over here. Now already it has accumulated the positive ions towards one side and the negative ions towards another side. So between this positive terminal and this negative terminal, there is a potential difference which is created. Obviously, what is potential difference? Like one side you have lot of electrons and one side you have a less number of electrons. So the potential which is created between this cathode and anode, right? That is called as EMF. This potential difference is called as EMF. Now, let me make you one thing very clear. EMF means electromotive force, but it is not any kind of a force. It is a potential difference, right? EMF is a potential difference. EMF is not a force. Now, if you see cathode, the copper, this electrode is made up of copper. Initially, it was acting as the negative side when the battery was there. Now, since all the positive charges has accumulated towards the copper, now this copper will no longer act as the anode, but it will act as the cathode. Previously it was acting as the cathode, now it will act as the anode, because all the positive charges got accumulated. So now all the positive charges are there, and being a positive charge means what? It is acting as the anode, positive terminal. And when it is discharging, similarly, this negative terminal, you can say, this was acting as the anode initially because it attracted all the anions. Now once it attracted all the anions, this has become negative charge. This terminal has become totally negative charge. And now this is acting as the cathode. So initially this copper was acting as the cathode and this zinc was acting as the anode when it was charging. Now when it is discharging, now this copper will act as the anode and zinc will act as the cathode, because all the positive charges got towards the cathode. So now all the positive charges are there, and being a positive charge terminal, now it is acting as the anode, and this cathode previously this was anode because it was attracting the anion. Now once the battery switched off, since it has attracted all the electrons towards itself, now this will act as the negative terminal. That is why I have written that as the cathode. So cathode means what? Now this is acting as the negative terminal. Now this potential difference between this anode and cathode, that is called as the EMF, right? That is called as the EMF. So EMF is not any kind of a force, although the name suggests electromotive force, but the EMF is a potential difference between the positive terminal and the negative terminal. So EMF is what? Potential difference between the positive terminal and negative terminal. But yes, one thing very important, it is the potential difference between the positive terminal and negative terminal when no current is flowing. No current means what? You make it like an open circuit. So when no current is flowing, that time whatever the potential difference is there, this potential difference is called as the EMF. So potential difference between the negative terminal and positive terminal when no current flowing, or say no current flowing in the external circuit. Okay, no current is flowing in the external circuit. See, this is the internal and this is the external. So when I have made this, so I broke this circuit, so now no current is flowing. So as a result, now whatever the potential difference is there between this negative terminal and this positive terminal, that is called as the EMF. So I hope you understood what is EMF and what is how does the mechanism of a battery is working. Now obviously right now if you put any bulb over here, now what you know, when the power goes off, it is the battery which is there in our house that provides you the power, that emergency power. Now whatever electrons which was accumulated in the cathode, that will slowly will move and will go towards through this bulb and enlighten this bulb, and that is how your current, or say you have the power in your house when there is a power failure in your locality. So this negative, this cathode which has accumulated all the electrons will now shift all the electrons, will now transfer the electrons towards the anode, and when it's transferring, it is transferred through the bulb or a fan or any kind of resistance. Okay, so that is how you are getting the current. So I think you understood till here. So you got the basic idea about EMF. So few points I have to say, that electrons flow from the cathode to the anode in the external circuit. This is the external circuit. So going like this. Okay, so electrons flow from cathode to anode. If I talk about cathode, that means what? Zinc to copper in the external circuit, right? And second thing, electrons move from anode to cathode through the electrolyte. So after the electron has traveled from here to here, Now what the electrons will do, after it has traveled over here, now it will pass through the electrolyte and will go over here. So it will keep on rotating. So now electrons flow from anode to cathode inside the electrolyte. Okay, now you must be having a question, how a electron in why a electron is going, so suppose this is the electron, over here you understood it goes from negative to positive. Now from positive to negative it is going. Now this question might be coming in your mind, that why a electron is going towards a negative terminal, because electron itself is a negative. So why it has to it is traveling towards this negative? It should be repelled. Now this is where the battery function comes. Okay, this battery is externally doing some work in making sure the electrons goes from the positive to the negative inside the electrolyte. Because over here the battery is not doing any work, because electrons gets attracted over here from negative to positive. The electron will get attracted by itself. No work is, the battery is not doing any kind of work in the external circuit, but inside the electrolyte the battery is doing some work, some external work in making sure the electron through the inside the electrolyte goes from positive terminal to the negative terminal, which the electron does not want. Because electron, obviously if it is a negative, why it will go towards the negative? But we can do it by doing some external work that the electron goes from positive to negative. Now in this entire process, whatever work is done by a unit charge, the amount of work done by a unit positive charge in traveling in the external circuit as well as in the internal circuit. Say I am talking, this is the internal circuit and this is the external circuit. The amount of work done by a unit charge, say we take a positive charge. Suppose you consider this as a positive charge. Now this positive charge, suppose it is going from here to here to here, again back to here. So how much this positive unit charge, okay, positive unit charge means say 1 coulomb of positive charge, okay, is doing some work in traveling from here to here to here back. Okay, this, how much work is done by a unit positive charge, that is also called as the EMF. So this EMF you can say means this EMF you can say the amount of work done by this unit positive charge. So this is a unit positive charge in traveling in the entire circuit, means in the external as well as the internal. Okay, so you understood this part. Now over here we will discuss about the factors on which EMF depends. See, EMF depends on certain factors and EMF does not depends on certain factors. So EMF does not depends upon 3 factors. The 3 factors are on which the EMF does not depend. It is the amount of electrolyte, means how much solution you have taken, 1 liter or 2 liter or 3 liter, on that it does not depend. It does not depend upon the distance between the electrodes. You can see this is the positive terminal, this is a negative terminal. So how much distance, whether it is 1 meter or half meter or 1/4 meter, that does not depends on that. Distance of the electrode, right? And it does not depends upon the shape of electrode. So it does not depends upon these 3 factors: amount of electrolytes, distance between the electrode, and shape of electrode. Means the shape, whatever shape. I can take this shape of the electrode also. Okay, I can take this shape of the electrode. So it does not matter. But on what factors it depends? It depends upon 2 factors. The first factor is this electrodes, this positive terminal, negative terminal, they are made up of what materials? So it depends on the material of the electrode. Okay, whether it is made up of graphite or it is made up of copper or it's made up of aluminum, whatever it is. So the material of the electrode. And second factor, it does depends on the nature of electrolyte. So it depends upon these two factors, material of electrode and nature of electrolyte. Means what you have put, sulfuric acid you have put, or say hydrochloric acid, or say salt and water, whatever. Normally we put some acid water, okay? So it depends on these two factors and it does not depend upon these three factors. I hope you understood the concept of EMF. Now let me give you the basic idea about the entire topic. Now, so the entire thing that we are seeing, this electrolyte, these electrodes, this circuit, this entire thing is called as the cell. This entire thing is called as the cell. Now, the basic thing that you have to understand is that a cell does not produce electron. Cell does not produce electrons. Whether is it producing electrons? No, it is just making the electrons flow, because the electrons are already present inside the electrolytes. And obviously electrons cannot be produced because charge cannot be created, neither is created nor is destroyed. So a cell is not producing electrons, but what it is doing is that it is giving energy to these electrons. Means these electrons which are there, the cell is giving some energy. See this electron over there, it is giving some energy, so it can these electrons carry this energy in the external circuit. And suppose I have a bulb. This bulb will glow if the bulb is provided with some electrical energy. And these electrons which are flowing now, these electrons has that electrical energy. This electrical energy which is carried by the electrons will go to the bulb, and now the bulb will glow. So a cell does not produce electrons. Second thing, a cell provides electrical energy to its electrical components. Means electrical components means what? Say fan, bulb, etc. So a cell is basically providing some electrical energy, which is the electrons, to this bulb. So that is the function of cell. A cell provides electrical energy. A cell does not produce electrons because the electrons are already present inside the electrolyte. And third thing, a cell will only function if there is a potential difference. If there is one side is positive and one side is negative, this potential difference has to be maintained to make sure that this electrons flows, okay, from negative to positive in the external circuit and from positive to negative in the inside the electrolyte. Again from negative to positive and positive to negative. So cell has to maintain a potential difference for the flow of electrons. So cell has to maintain this potential difference. If they do not provide, if the potential difference is not maintained, then obviously electrons will not go through in the external circuit. If there is a negative side and there is a positive side, this potential difference will now allow or will now force the electron to go from the negative towards the positive. So this is the basic idea about the electric cell. And what is EMF? I think I already told you, that is the potential difference between the positive terminal and negative terminal inside the electrolyte means not externally. Externally we'll discuss about that in the next video, what that is terminal voltage. So internally, whatever is the voltage between this positive and negative, that is called as the EMF. I hope you understood what is EMF and what is cell is. So we'll discuss in the next video what is terminal voltage and what is internal resistance. So keep watching the series to understand these topics one by one. Okay, take care, bye.